The presentation for what?
That was 2 weeks ago. The second presentation.
You must be kidding.
What?
You must be kidding.
What, teacher? Did you skip it or خلاص?
No, I didn't. But you actually should have done that. Like,
No, because teacher, I always ask you to say tomorrow. Attendance for tomorrow. And then
oh,
see you and say next week.
I'm so sorry for that, actually.
That's why I was waiting.
Okay, no problem in this at all.
Okay. See you later, teacher. I have to go now.
You will not present?
Uh, the presentation. I thought.
Yeah, you can.
Okay. 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 So I'm gonna share it now. Do you see, teacher?
Yay.
Okay. Um.
Hello, Salim.
Hello. Bruh, 4 slides? Okay, whatever.
Okay. Greeks with the Greek wars with Persia. Athens wins at Marathon. Persians soon crushed the rebel cities in Ionia, but Persian Emperor Darius the First was furious at the role of Athens had played in the uprising. The Persian greatly outnumbered forces, yet the invaders were amazed to see a mere handful of men coming on at a run without either horsemen or archers. The Athenians celebrated their triumph. Still, the Athenian leader Themistocles knew the victory at Marathon had but only a temporary lull in the fighting. In 480 BC, Darius' son Xerxes sent a much larger force to conquer Greece. By this time, Athens had persuaded Sparta and other city-states to join in the fight against Persia. The Athenians lured the Persian fleet into the narrow Strait of Salamis.
Yes.
Athens leads the Delian League. Athens emerged from the war as the most powerful city-state in Greece. It
Yes.
organized with other Greek cities-states an alliance, or formal agreement between two or more nations or powers to cooperate and come to one another's defense. Athens dominated the Delian League and slowly used its position of leadership to create an Athenian empire. Thanks for
Thank
making me present, teacher.
Can I present, please?
I will leave
That's
now.
great. Actually, I love that presentation. Please send it to me.
Okay, I'll send it to you now.
Okay. Good afternoon, Walid. How are you doing? I'm doing great. Thank you very much.
Can I present, teacher?
Yes, Salim, you can. Just
Yay.
give me a moment until I just wait. 9, 3.
See my screen?
Hold on. Yes, we can see it. Yes, you can do that, Salim. You can present after Salim, yes. No problem. Sorry, I'm speaking to Walid. Walid, you can send the presentation, yes. Present in the bathroom. Fix your problem. The Greek philosophers and their contributions made by Salim Azam Bazim to teach Ahmad Lutfi school the art that Okay, you can start, Salim. Salim, we do not hear you, by the way.
I don't know how else to
Yes,
Greek
now we
philosophers and their contributions made by Salim Bazin, teacher Ahmed, School Health Night. Who I will discuss about the meaning of philosopher implies lovers of wisdom. While there are many philosophers, I will only be talking about a specific three: Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. Wait, my brother's in the room. Maybe a sec.
So what is wrong when your brother is in the room?
Oh yeah. Okay, I'm finished.
Okay.
Socrates, a stone's man and philosopher from Athens. Much of what we know about him comes from his student Plato. He used a process known as the Socratic method. This process contains Socrates questioning a passerby or student and challenging them to examine the implications of their answer. This, in a way, threatened the Athenian traditions and values. This, of course, angered the jury, meaning Socratic method. Thinking he corrupted the young ones, or the young generation, he was
Yes.
put onto trial and calmly accepted his punishment, death, even though he had a sound argument. So that sums up Socrates. Plato. The death of his fellow philosopher left Plato, which is Socrates, distressed. He despised democracy, distrusted it. So he fled from Athens for 10 years. The day of his return, he built a school called the Academy. He also emphasized what Socrates did as well, the importance of reason. The Republic, Plato's book, describes the ideal society in his mind, rejection to democracy, of course, were because of what condemned to his fellow pioneer Socrates. Sorry
Great.
about that error there. He divided society into three groups: workers to produce, soldiers to defend, and philosophers to rule. The wisest crowned the philosopher king, which sounds
Yeah.
pretty cool. Aristotle. Plato's student Aristotle came to develop many of his own philosophies. He examined different types of governments, monarchies, democracies, and I'll give you more oligarchies, uh,
Now it's
and what else?
aristocracy.
Yeah, aristocracy as well, which is ruled by nobles, and found good and bad examples of them. In the end, he favored one supreme ruler, which I am guessing is a monarchy, meaning a king that rules all. Aristotle, just like his teacher, created a school called Lyceum for study of all branches of knowledge. Aristotle, of course, left writings on politics, ethics, logic, biology, literature, and many other subjects. Universities evolved from some 1500 years later and were based largely on Aristotle's ideas.
Great. Up till this day,
Yes.
actually, not only 1500 years later, but up till this day, we still have the same methods. The three of
Yes.
them for us, Socrates, Plato, and Arthur.
And I have come to know many things about philosophers and what they have done for Greece and its people. But what happened to Socrates, the jury sentencing him to death, is a prime example of humans do not like change or anything different. Thank you for your time. Hope this suffices to what you had in mind.
Actually, that was great. But please alert to the apostrophe from its people. This is a pronoun. Second line,
It's people.
yeah,
Oh yeah, but yeah,
yes,
I figured that was wrong.
this is a pronoun. That's great. Thank you very much for your presentation, Salim. As always, I love it. But yeah, very good. You got me. Okay. So, Yusuf, are you ready? Don't forget to send
Yes, I
the
am.
Want me to
project.
send it to you? Okay.
Yeah, you have to, so that we have an evidence the students have sent the project.
I'm pretty sure I sent it to you.
So you're gonna share your screen, or should I share mine?
I'm gonna share it.
Okay, I'm waiting.
Can
Loading.
you see it?
Now we can. Ancient Roman architecture.
Yes. So, ancient Roman architecture by Yusuf al-Mu'min for the elite Ahmed al-Wakil.
Merci.
Origins. While borrowing much from the preceding Etruscan architecture, such as the use of hydraulics and the construction of arches, Roman prestige architecture remained firmly under the spell of ancient Greek architecture and the classical orders. This came initially from Magna Graecia. Give me a second. Okay, so this came initially from Magna
Graecia, or the Greek colonies in southern Italy, and indirectly from the Greek influence on the Etruscans. But after the Roman conquest of Greek, directly from the best classical and Hellenistic examples in the Greek world, the influence is evident in many ways. For example, in the introduction and use of Terrenium in Roma, villas as villas as a place of, and manner of dining. Roman builders employed the Greek in many capacity, especially in the great boom in construction in the early empire. This picture is what is called the triclinium. It's the place where they eat for dinner or something like that. So the Romanesque architecture. Roman architecture supplied the very basic the basic vocabulary of pre-Romanesque and Romanesque architecture and spread across Christian Europe well beyond the old frontiers of the empire to Ireland and Scandinavia, for example. Romanesque architecture is an architectural style of the medieval Europe characterized by semicircular arches. As you see here, this is the Maria Lack Abbey in Germany. See, the arches aren't fully circular, they're kind of triangular. And
Yes.
so this is in Germany, so this just says how far it has spread into Europe. City design. The ancient Romans employed regular orthogonal structures on which they molded their colonies. They probably were inspired by Greek and Hellenic examples, as well as by regularly planned cities that were built by the Etruscans in Italy. The Romans used hold up. Who the hell placed this here? Okay,
Who did
so
place that?
the Romans used consolidated scheme for city planning, developed for military defense and civil convenience. The basic plan consisted of a central form with city services surrounded by compact rectilinear grid of streets and wrapped in a wall for defense. So here in the picture, you can see this is the central area with what seems like a school or something here, and where the services are, and then there are the orthogonal structures. Orthogonal means perpendicular to each other. So you see rows are perpendicular to each other, and the wall that protects the city is around the city, as you can see.
Actually, we still use the same thing right now, even in Riyadh. The same planning in Riyadh. If you can look to Riyadh from the map, you will see that we have the same exact planning.
Yeah, just without the walls part.
Yeah, of course.
And villa and domus. A villa was a country house built for the upper class, while a domus was a wealthy family's house in a town. So this is the villa, as you can see, it's in the country, a Roman villa in the country for the wealthy or for the upper class. And this is a domus. It's a house for the wealthy inside the city, not on the country like the villa. And it also has a garden behind it, but you can't see it in here.
Yes.
Triumphal arches. Triumphal arch is a monumental structure in the shape of an archway with one or more arched passageways, often designed to span a road. So this is the Arc du Quantique in somewhere in France, I'm sure.
Okay.
So as you can see, there are roads going from under it, and it's still standing in the modern days. So the structures were powerful. They could withstand weather and other
So
other
far, so
tragedies.
fine.
And this is the end. Thank you for your attention and time. And sources are from Wikipedia. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Yusuf. That's nice actually to speak about the Roman people as we shall, or supposedly speak about them in the next step. Okay, so Walid, did you solve your problem or not yet?
Can I present my project?
Okay, now I'll just give me a second. Yusuf, 7. Okay, now until Walid finishes his problem, you may present.
Okay.
Are you gonna share your screen?
Me teacher or Walid?
You. Now I've until Walid.
No,
Walid
I
has,
sent to you on Classir.
just hold on. You can see my screen, right?
Yes, teacher.
And there is a missing comma here after الجلبان because it's compound sentence. Yes, Musab, you can present up to now. Okay, Walid, but remember this, tomorrow is the last date for presenting because the day after tomorrow you will not be able to present because of the quiz. So you all need to finish your projects today and present them tomorrow. Other than that, you will not be able to get the full mark. Okay, now
Yes, the Roman Empire, a brief history. The founding of Rome goes back to the very early days of civilization, so old known as the external city. Roman believed that the city was founded in 753 BC, and modern historians believe it was 625 BC.
all right.
Government. Early Rome governed by kings, but after only seven ruled, Romans took power over own city and ruled themselves. They had a council known as the Senate, which ruled over them. From this point on, known as the Roman Republic, the word republic comes from the Latin, the language of Romans words res publica, means public matter, or matter of state.
Nice.
The Senate job was to advise the kings, appointed a consul head guy who ruled Rome like a king, but only for 1 year. Wise idea because the consul ruled carefully and not as a tyrant, for he knew he could be punished by the next consul once his year was up.
Yes. Do you remember the tyrants? Those
Of
people
course,
who take
teacher.
power by force?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Four classes of people: nobles called patricians, or all the real power in Rome lay here. Equestrians, Acanites means the riders. They were given a horse to ride if they were called to fight for Rome. Had to be rich. Plebeians, they were free people, they had little say at all. Slaves owned by other people, they had no rights at all.
Unfortunately, there was a very, very huge social discrimination in the Royal Empire. Julius Caesar?
Previous, yeah, Caesar facts. Rome's most famous citizen, Roman politician and general, conquered the vast territory of the Gauls to the north of his province in France. In the year 49 BC, crossed the river between his province and Italy, called the river Rubicon, and conquered Rome itself, which he then ruled as a dictator. His military campaigns also took him to Egypt, where they met the famous Cleopatra. His,
Cleopatra.
Cleopatra is, his life was ended as he was infamously murdered in the Senate in Rome. A month of year is still named after him and his heirs today, July, after Julius Caesar. Shakespeare wrote a famous play called Julius about his famous murder Caesar.
Yes, actually, he was murdered by his own friends in the palace or the Senate in Rome. They plotted behind him and they just needed to get rid of him so that they can take control of his lands and the places he conquered. And that shows to us even his closest friend. That's very bad.
Yeah, this
This
the map
forum
of ancient Rome.
this is the forum of Julius Caesar, and this is the Coliseum. Of course, in the Coliseum, they acted some sort of athletic games, and one of these games was to bring a slave and put him in the arena along with a tiger or a lion, and he shall defend his life. And of course, some other slaves were fighting themselves in the arena in order to gain their own freedom. And later, after the Roman Empire declined, one of these people, one of these slaves, had rushed in order to seek his own freedom and liberty along with other slaves. His name was Spartacus. Spartacus, the slavers free of the Roman Empire. And that's the Maximus. Nice. Coliseum.
Colosseum. The Colosseum was begun by Vespasian, was finished by Titus in AD 80. Could contain an audience of between 4,500 and 50,000 spectators. The Colosseum, the arena area today, as seen from the second level up over the present main entrance.
So here in the middle, this of course could be covered. All of this area could be covered, or they will just be in this maze. And in the maze, they must meet themselves as slaves, fight for their liberty. The one who wins shall be given rewards or fight in the next level, or even be given his own freedom. On the other hand, those who die just die.
Circus Maximus. Very ancient origin. Its basic facilities appear to date back as far as 329 BC. Today, nothing really remains but the large space cleared of any modern buildings in the 1930s. Once was filled by the massive structure which housed as many as 250,000 spectators.
Of course, the Circus Maximus was made for horse riding. So they will just hold something like an arrow, and they will just go one on a horse right here in this place, and the other on the other side, and they are collapsing along each other. So one on a horse right here with his long arrow, okay, and the other one comes from the other side, and they shall meet in the middle. And the one who strikes the other and make him fall out of his horse wins. The Forum of Julius Caesar.
Forum of Julius Caesar. Using his booty from coasts of Gaul, Caesar built the Forum Julium. Independently, Caesar's grand reply to Pompey is theater and supplied entertainment.
So he just needed his people to be entertained as much as possible. So he began in 51 BC and completed in 46 BC, and once contained not merely a set of the goddess Venus, but so Julius Caesar himself and his Egyptian lover Queen Cleopatra. The census,
Yeah.
Roman dresses, that's good. The toga,
Roman dress.
that's great actually. Thank you very much. I think that you have done a lot of effort in that.
Welcome, teacher.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, when you have something like that, just Control A and then Control P. Control space, and then bingo, and then you can do it in one. Thank you very much, Noah.
Welcome, teacher.
Okay, let's just give you your mark. Noah for Japan, Noah for Japan, Noah for Japan. So, anyone is ready for presenting today?
Yeah, I'm gonna present.
Musab, are you gonna share your screen, or shall I open your file?
No, I'm gonna share my screen.
Okay, here you are.
No, somehow I can't share it. Hold on.
Did you send me your project?
Yeah. Can you see my screen now?
Loading. Yeah, now we can see it.
Okay. The Greek philosophers and their contribution in arts and literature. Hold on, let me just. Done by me, 9th, third quarter, third project. Introduction. Ancient Greek philosophers such as Crates, Aristotle, Plato, and Professors Anacharsis, Tale, and others dealt with a wide variety of subjects, including political philosophy, rhetoric, logic, ethics, metaphysics, biology, aesthetics, and more. Most modern philosophers, historians, and other scholars accept that Greek philosophy has been a major influence to the Western culture since its inception. So today I'm going to tell you some of the wide variety of subjects that the ancient Greek philosophers dealt with. The Greek philosophers. Philosophy is a purely Greek invention. The word philosophy means love of wisdom in Greek. Ancient Greek philosophy was the attempt made by some ancient Greeks to make sense out of the world around them and explain things in a non-religious way. These people, called philosophers, used their intelligence and reasoning skills instead of using maths to understand their world. Philosophy gained prominence in 6th century BC, which the advent of several important Greek philosophers such as Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, and others, and continued throughout the Hellenistic period when Alexander the Great spread the Greek ideals and culture in most of the known world of his time. Why is ancient Greek philosophy still important today?
Chat.
Ancient Greeks brought,
Chat.
yeah,
Hello. Can you get to the other
yeah.
slide, please? Next slide. Next. 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 Okay, so yeah, just stop here.
Hey, he used my picture.
Yeah, not yours. So the last one, yeah,
I got it from Google.
yeah. We have here Aristotle, we have
I
Plato, and
know.
also we have Socrates. So the three of the main important philosophers. So can you just tell me about their work? What did they do? How did they contribute in the prosperous of the city-state of Athens back in their time? Supposedly you have read what you have written. Have you?
Yeah, but I didn't memorize it.
Just what you
I'm just gonna
remember.
try to say it.
You have already
So
studied.
yeah, yeah. So Socrates, he believed that I think he believed to find the truth, or was it Aristotle? One of them, like they believed to find the truth and to seek the truth in everything.
Yes.
Um, and let me hold on. Um, I remember Plato was and like his logic. So and like he used logical thinking to solve problems and somehow. And he said instead of finding the truth, he said find your truth. Um, and I believe Aristotle the ethics and critical thinking. Yeah, that's what I remember.
Okay, just few with me. The first one, Socrates. Socrates, he believed in truth and nothing but truth. Consequently, he made that method that is called the Socratic method. And the Socratic method, he tends to ask people some questions, and from their answer, they can come to the truth. So he's not telling them about the truth. He's just asking some questions. And regarding to the answer they answer his questions, they will come to the truth. Of course, the people in his society, the corrupted ones, did not like that, and they just called him as a betrayal, and he is corrupting the youth, etc. And they sent him to trial, and he accepted his trial by death. And of course, he drank some poisonous potion. His student, Plato, he fled from Athens after his teacher was murdered, and he stayed away from Athens for 10 years. After those 10 years, he came once again to the city-state of Athens, and he constructed his school, which was called the Academy. The Academy. And the Academy, of course, he presented for us some of the most important ideas about philosophy and also about his views of the idealistic society. In the idealistic society, he divided it into three main categories. Number one, workers. Number two, warriors. And number three, philosophers. Later, his student Aristotle himself took the same ideas of his former teacher Plato and his great teacher Socrates, and he started speaking to us about the idealistic society, about truth, and also started to mention some of the great books of literature and history. And also, he opened a school called the Lyceum. Okay, Musad.
Okay.
Next project, we don't urge you to just write a lot, just few lines and concise ones. Thank you very much, Musa.
Thank you.
So, anyone else is ready today for presenting? All right. I believe there is only a small part that we have not covered so far in topic 4.5. Did I start recording? Yes, I did. So far about the Hellenistic period and the Hellenistic era, is there anything that you just need to ask me about? Anything that you still do not understand? Hello, calling from Earth.
Yes, it's a normal question.
All right. So I believe we stopped at Alexander's legacy or something. No, we finished that and we took the Hellenistic arts. We have already spoken yesterday about the Hellenistic arts and science. During or regarding this topic, we have mentioned that first of all, we need to know that the temples, palaces, and also the building were larger in the Hellenistic period from that of the early Greece, and that because of the area, the place, they had many places to deal with. That's very awful, by the way. So, because in the Hellenistic period, cities have more open area, more place. Consequently, everything was much bigger. So their buildings were much more grander and larger than those buildings in the classical Greeks. We spoke about philosophies at that era, and we said that those philosophers were very, very affected by the Greek philosophers, Aristotle, Socrates, and also Plato. The most important one in them was Stoicism. This branch was founded by a man called Zeno. He urged the people to avoid desires. The one that we called is closely connected to that of Confucianism. So he urged the people to just stop following your desire, avoid your desires and your disappointment, and just accept calmly what life might bring you. And by doing so, you will live eventually in harmony with yourself and also with the nature. Some sort of Confucianism, actually. So, Stokes he approached the high standards, such as the idea of protecting the rights of fellow humans. So, he believed that all humans are alike and all of them must be treated equally. About math and astronomy. So, one question before we say that: why would any civilization in the ancient world, okay, take great interest in astronomy? They didn't have the means to travel to space. So, why were they so interested in astronomy? Hola,
Yes.
why would ancient civilization take great interest in astronomy, even though they didn't have the means to travel to space, not like what we have today.
Like explore, they wanted to explore more
About
the universe.
the universe. Okay, what else? Yusuf still with us?
The planets, the stars,
Stars. Okay.
the galaxy. I don't
Yeah, maybe they looked up, said, "Wow, huge thing! I want to go there."
know.
They wanted to go there, yet we didn't have the means to do so.
I mean, they probably didn't even know you could go there. They always thought it was impossible.
I'm dealing with the situation, so okay.
Wait, is there a
Yes,
question that
okay.
you'll ask?
Why would the civilization in the ancient world take a great interest in astronomy, though they did not have the means to travel to space?
You can like know where you are in like in this earth by looking at these stars. Like you can go basically anywhere from these stars. Like these stars could be a GPS to you.
LVBS to nice, so navigation.
Yeah, you
Nice.
can
That's one
navigate
point.
to it.
Actually, the sailors used the stars as navigate as doing a navigation. That's very good point also. Okay, but most importantly, most of the ancient civilization they were what polytheistics, right?
Yes, multiple gods.
Yeah. Consequently, they believe that their gods are living in the skies in the space, and they just needed to discover the place where their gods are. And other civilization like the Mesopotamian civilization, especially the Mesopotamian civilization, they believed in magic, and they believed in magic in a very, very, very high way. That they use the places for planets, etc., and trying to know the fortune for someone, trying to deduce something from the past, or even to know something from the future. So that's why they studied also astronomy. So, but for our scholars right now, they are studying mathematics and astronomy in the real harmony world. So, how does in the Hellenistic period we are speaking? So, in the Hellenistic period, they used mathematics and also astronomy to prove theories, and nowadays, and actually, so far we still have the same thing. Yeah? The first mathematician we have was Pythagoras. So Pythagoras himself, or Pythagoras, he was a very genius mathematician, and his equation is still to be used today. The formula, which is a square plus b square equals c squared on a right triangle, of course. So his formula is still to be used today. Another one was Euclid's, and we said that Euclid he was a very good mathematician also, yet he was in the branch of geometry. He also wrote some of the most important equations about geometry, and using mathematics and also careful observation, the astronomers Aristocrates, he argued that the Earth rotated around its axis, as we said today, yeah? And also the Earth is tilted to its axis with an angle of 23.5 degrees. So Earth rotates around its axis and then orbits the Sun. So Earth is not stable, not as they thought at that time. They thought that the Earth was the center of the universe and all of the other planets orbit Earth. So he came and he said, no, that's incorrect. Earth is just a planet and it orbits the Sun, as many other planets. And there are billions of planets all over the universe and hundreds of billions of galaxies and solar systems. Another one we have Aristophanes, where yes, Aristophanes. Aristophanes himself also said that the Earth was round. It was not flat. Okay, in the Roman Empire, anyone who would say that Earth was flat, they will just kill him. So Aristophanes proved to the world in the Hellenistic period that the Earth was round, and still actually round. And some of the most important scientists in the Hellenistic period was Archimedes, okay, or Archimedes as we say in Arabic. Archimedes himself, he was so genius that he made some of the most important contribution to the Hellenistic period, and still some of his inventions are to be used today, like the screw, which is used to just take the water from down to bingo to up. So we still use his own method right now. The medical practice improved on around 400 BC. The Greek physician.
Teacher,
Yes.
sorry, but the area period is finished.
Okay, we have already finished everything. So please just check if there are any question that you need to ask me about topic 5.4. Just ask me tomorrow. And that's gonna be it for today.
Thank you, teacher.
You are very, very welcome. And I hope that you have a good day. So enjoy the rest of your day and take care. Goodbye to you, Wally. And again, tomorrow is the last day for presentation. Goodbye. I don't know why you're ashamed of the love. Yeah. Bye.